Welcome to 2025, the year AI takes over, my friends. I think we're going to actually be replaced by an AI.
Dude, no doubt. You don't even know. I'm already AI. I got this shit figured out 6 months ago, bro. You're not even talking to Adam right now. This is the new and improved Adam with better skin.
Yeah, the takeover is real here, but I'm excited we finally have this conversation. It literally feels like it's been a month since we've been able to just sit here and talk about the market with the holidays 2 weekends in a row, the prediction show, which some of that's already turning out to be right. And we are so back. I think the focus...
That Leo and Dog show was massive, man.
It was massive, dude. Insane. I think the Emblem account picked up like 1,000 followers from that one space. The dog army is real.
Eat it, bro. Do not fuck it. Dude, if meme coins happen on Bitcoin at all, how can you fade fucking dog?
The dog army is crazy. I have to give it to him. Absolutely insane.
Yeah. Once Rune starts getting listed on these exchanges, that thing's gonna go to like immediately $5 billion. Like it's going to be insane. I'm actually interested for dog. I'm interested to see what the downside is because it is so distributed and because runes take forever to sell. If that downside is actually limited and it's more like a staircase down than like an elevator down, which you see with a lot of these meme coins, I guess that's to be determined. But the fact that it's 55% of the total runes market cap is saying something. Actually, today I did this post. I didn't even realize there's 1.5 million in dog LP across 2 different decentralized exchanges on .swap and Runes Dex. And I know there's obviously Arch, which I have a topic for them later. I wonder if we get that over 10 million. That was my prediction for 2025.
I mean, what's a good amount, Chris, for like $1 billion market cap coin? How much liquidity is like
for $1 billion? Man, it just varies on so many different levels. But I mean, if you're getting to like, I don't know, 10 million seems pretty decent. A lot of these DVLs don't even have like over 1 million, you know? So yeah. It just depends, but it's not really all about the liquidity either. Like you don't want it to be a ton of liquidity. You want to have some movement in that pool. So sometimes it can suppress it a bit if there's too much liquidity at different levels.
Yeah, as we launched Sensorium and I've been in this Telegram with all these, you know, Solana traders, I've seen a handful of them say that too much liquidity is actually a bad thing. Why do you think that is?
It's because you have to set your liquidity parameters for different levels, so different price targets. And if you have too much liquidity, then there's too much liquidity overhead and the price can't actually move up.
So even though you might get a lot of buyers, it just the price doesn't really bounce.
Yeah, so you might not have a lot of slippage either way, but that's kind of a bad thing because you kind of want slippage on the way up, right? You want to move price up quickly and down slowly, but you can't really have one without the other.
Interesting. Our rare Pepe minting printer is going off right now. I've seen like 100 or 200 rare Pepes minted in the last
There has been some major sales over the last week. Some major sales over the last week.
It's when you know Pepe, or that's when you know NFTs are back, when rare Pepe starts printing. Once our bulk minting tool is live, which I saw Bunzi was working on it yesterday, looking pretty good, making some huge progress. I think once that happens and you start seeing, you know, a lot of these ordinals being printed to Solana, or you see a lot of rare Pepes just printed to base, that seems to be where everybody wants. Last year it was everyone wanted NFTs on Solana. Now all the requests seem to be everyone wants NFTs on base.
They might want them back on Solana again. I saw, what was it, Mad Lads was popping again. Is that right, Chris? So, you know, Solana NFTs might be back too. Who knows, man?
It just comes down to that wealth effect, you know. Where are people making money? Do they have money to spend on the chain? Do they want to buy things on that chain? Just kind of all goes together, in my opinion.
Yeah, that makes sense. So first topic of the day, we're going to start off with some macro stuff here, which I found to be pretty interesting, or I guess macro in the world of the internet, which is now in charge as we enter the Trump era. Zuck just going completely base today. Maybe he's also trying to cover his tracks of some of the massive surveillance crimes that he's enacted over the last, 6 years or so. He basically came out. He even quoted X in his space. I know him and Elon had been beefing for a while. He said that they're getting rid of third-party fact checkers and they're replacing it with community notes. They're actually going to now increase political content. He said that Facebook and Instagram and Threads have been asking for more political content, and he's lifting different types of topic restrictions. Did he bend the knee to Trump, and are we so back? He mentioned free speech at least like 15 times in this 5-minute segment.
Yeah. I mean, this is, we were talking a little bit before the show. I get the feeling Zuck is at that level when you have a company that's this huge. It's like owning Microsoft or something where you basically bend the knee to whatever the government says. And so he sees winds changing here and he's bending the knee. At the end of the day, I mean, for me, frankly, I think these are public goods, public squares at the end of the day. I don't think you should be able to ban people, frankly. No matter what they say. Of course, you can algo limit them and stuff like that. You don't have to spread people spreading hate and stuff, but I don't even think you should be able to be banned off these platforms anymore. I think it's at that point. So anyway, free speech, honestly, this is like, it's, it makes me very, very happy because this was, I mean, start of COVID and all through COVID and the entire past administration, it was not clear that we would get back to free speech in this country. And I mean, dude, it's hard to believe we were right on that fence, like right on that fence of just pure tyranny. And so it's great to see it coming back.
Chris, do you think crypto content makes its way to Facebook, Threads, and Instagram as he now levies against the restriction of freedom of speech?
I mean, if he's this close with the establishment, he's going to have to be pro crypto, right? There's all those massive crypto groups on Facebook already. Yeah, I see that turning up. I wish that there was more of a separation between the establishment. He obviously added Dana White to the board of directors of Meta, which I think is a win for freedom of speech, but I just wish it was a bit more further away from, the Trump administration and things in that nature. I really want to see like more independent media, not just establishment run media from my perspective, but huge win for freedom of speech. We're freedom of speech absolutists. It's crazy to see the pendulum swing back the way that it has with such a vengeance, but I think we're finally in good hands a little bit. But crazy that he can kind of 180 his entire evil kind of like career in a matter of months by just making a few chess moves. So yeah, I guess it's never actually all the way over. You can always reinvent yourself.
You got to give it to, obviously he's obviously super bright, but I'm sure he has really good people around him. And I was saying to Jake, like the rebrand of Mark Zuckerberg is really, he's got a great fucking team, man. Look at him with his chain and shit, dude. It's like, dude, the rebrand of like, freedom fighter, I don't know, just a swashbuckling, boxes and kickboxes and surfs and, down to earth Zuck is really, they've done an incredible job with him.
I think it's the gold chain and he's letting the Jew curls go flying high. That's what my hair looks like actually when I don't put anything in it, to be honest.
Lean in, bro. Lean in.
Maybe once I offend somebody and I need a rebrand, I'll pull the Zuck card there. So freedom of speech is back. Once Meta does this metaverse, just going to be absolutely chaos. I hope so. At least what one can pray for. On other news, on a more macro scale, I totally forgot CES was in town out here in Vegas, and Jensen Huang came out with an insane chart, which made me somewhat terrified, but also somewhat very motivated. This graphic where I guess it all begins in 2012 with the AlexNet. I think this was his original graphics cards, and then the progression of AI on this, exponential curve here. Perception AI, which was the beginning, speech recognition, medical imaging, then generative AI, which we're all familiar with, right? Digital marketing, content creation. That's like what you see with Grok, where you can make an image. Agentic AI, I guess that's kind of where we're moving towards right now with coding assistant, customer service, and patient care. And then he has here all the way at the top, at the very peak, physical AI, which is self-driving cars and general robotics. Alongside that, there were some other kind of notes here where this new graphics card that just came out apparently has, I was reading about it, it's the 5070 RTX. It has some sort of like AI component to it where it's like an AI swarm tech that propels the graphics forward or something. It's a little bit above my comprehension, but kind of wild to see all of this really unfolding as NVIDIA temporarily superseded Apple to become the most valuable company in the world. Are we officially now in the AI era and it's taken over? Is everything predicated now on NVIDIA's earnings call every quarter?
It feels like traditional history would tell me there's going to be a bubble and a correction here. And I have no doubt there may be price wise and stock wise and stuff like that. Sure, that can happen, especially as these build outs get huge and massive, and they're spinning up nuclear reactors and stuff like that. That can get haywire. But just looking at this chart where I see speech recognition, like some of you younger guys might not remember this, but I bought in like 2011, I bought a program called Dragon Naturally Speaking, which was to basically allow you to speak and type on your computer. So you'd speak into this thing, right? It was a program you ran on your laptop. You'd speak to it and it would type the words. Bro, you had to train this thing for like 10 hours to try and get it to work. And even then it sucked. Like I basically dropped it. And this was like $100 program back in the day. Just think now, like I remember like 5 years ago realizing my phone, like the speech to text, like was improved. Bro, we've seen the movement from that, which is like, this is less than a decade ago, to what we have now. That exponential curve is not even like straight, like it's a straight line up. If you aren't bullish on this, like what could you possibly be bullish? I mean, I would be, it's right to be terrified about it too. Like that's completely legitimate. But if you're not bullish on this, I just don't, obviously we're in tech, we see it. This is the most interesting thing since the internet. And actually it's way more than the internet. This is like, we've created thinking robots, and that, has been the dream of people forever. Right. So yeah, this is it's beyond comprehension, man. It's
what perfect timing where he releases this. We have a 3-month parabolic run for AI coins, which are close to 20 billion in market cap. As the CEO of NVIDIA says that AI agents are a multi-trillion-dollar industry.
Easy.
Like, bullish on your bullishness. Chris,
what's bigger than trillion? A gajillion? What's bigger? I don't know what the next number up is.
A bajillion.
A bajillion.
Chris, what's your take on NVIDIA and AI, as we're kind of setting expectations here for 2025?
It's a sign of the times, right? Like, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that makes you want to dream again. I was hesitant when you see NVIDIA around $1 trillion. You think that can't really go any higher. Goes to 2 trillion. That can't really go any higher. Goes to 3 trillion. That can't really go any, 3.5 trillion today. Overtaking Apple as the world's biggest company in the world. I mean, that is like a massive feat, right? Apple touches the eyes and hearts of millions and billions of people all over the entire world. How many people touch NVIDIA on a day-to-day basis? Obviously, they use processing chips, but how many people are aware of it? How many people have a connection like they do with a company like Apple? So it's just really symbolic of the times that we're living in and kind of where we're going. How high does it go? I have no idea. But I mean, what does it signal for the rest of the market? That AI is the only game in town. AI is the only thing that matters. That's what the market's telling you. It's telling you that it doesn't care about anything else. And when we put in that in the perspective of where crypto is today, AI and crypto is going a lot higher, like a lot higher. I mean, I've been kind of thinking that NVIDIA would drag for maybe the last 6-8 months, maybe longer than that. I didn't think that it would make new highs. I thought it was completely parabolic before. I mean, if you look at an NVIDIA chart, it looks totally insane. And so I think we talked about it at the New Year's prediction show, but this is the year of the AI bubble. You can't convince me otherwise. 25 years after the dot-com bubble, we get the AI bubble.
Has NVIDIA actually outperformed Bitcoin now? It might be at that level where if you bought NVIDIA
many years,
$5. Is that right?
I think it outperformed Bitcoin, but I don't think it outperformed MicroStrategy.
Oh my God. Harry, what'd you say?
NVIDIA's been outperforming Bitcoin for a couple of years now.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I know. Like one of the indicators was like if you pulled up the NVIDIA Bitcoin chart, I think that was that's probably like a good indicator to see, where the market is when you're measuring crypto against AI there. It's going to be absolutely insane. I mean, when you look at the crypto AI market now, we went from 0 to I have Cookie.fun pulled up here on the live stream. 16.86 billion. We're at 966 agents tracked. When we did
you were like 2,000 or whatever.
Yeah, Chris, severely underestimated that. When we did our prediction show last week, it was at 400. That's at almost 1,000. I said it would be 2,000 by the end, or 3,000 by the end of the year. Chris was like, "No, you need to put a 10x on that. It's going to be like 30,000 by the end of
300 fucking.
Another comment though is just to look at how small crypto is. It's barely the size of NVIDIA, one company in today's world. Like crypto is going much higher in 2025, much higher than we think that it is.
Yep.
Yeah, I totally agree here. It's interesting watching it unfold as we are actually also participating with this Tensorium project. You have Virtuals, which is at a $5.54 billion market cap, right? I guess this is measuring the AI market on base. And then you have AI16Z, which is 2.65 billion. That's where Tensorium exists because it uses the LISA framework, is at 2.65 billion. So you're measuring the, I guess, the Solana ecosystem, just like this is just a general barometer. And then the other ecosystems is 414 million. And kind of just explain if people are kind of new to this. And I've been honestly learning this as has been going as well. You have different frameworks. And so I would think of frameworks as like just like an operating system for an AI agent. And these ecosystems, some of them are closed source, some of them are open source. And so individuals, if you're kind of just a newbie, you could come and use virtuals, and it's like a pump.fun times a framework. So it launches an agent for you with a token. You don't really have to do much work. It's very close source. They give you your options, but you can't really pull it out of virtuals, at least not yet. Whereas A16Z is kind of the opposite approach. It's a little bit more chaotic. The ELIZA framework's open source. People are contributing on an everyday basis, but it takes a little bit of developer experience to go in now and kind of use ELIZA. That's the route that we went because Shannon's a gigabrain and knows how to do all this stuff. And we'll get on that project later. And then you have some of these emerging ecosystems. You have Waifu, Top Hat, and CreatorBit. I think there's a few others out there. Think of it, I'm kind of framing this as like the, you have like virtuals in Ethereum would be like I guess virtuals would be like Ethereum, AI16Z would be like Solana, and then these other frameworks are kind of like the Alt L1 trade, where, there's probably higher gains at some point in there, but you have these two kind of established ecosystems. And it seems like with AI, the network effect or the Lindy effect just becomes even more exacerbated than it was in crypto. And crypto is, right, when something is created, it's the, Financial Times. You have Financial Times culture. And now with AI, you have like Financial Times culture times intelligence. And it just seems to just have this insane runaway effect. Adam, as we are now, we're almost 2 months, I guess in a week or two, it'd be 2 months into launching Tensorium, but we were building the Emblem AI platform before that. What's your take on, the emerging ecosystems of, virtuals, AI16Z, these frameworks, and maybe we'll get into the altcoins right after this.
Yeah, I think it's still early days. My gut says AI16Z is going to be kind of maybe the winner, but it's actually too early to really pick it. I think virtual used it. Not a huge fan. I think they just happened to hit it right early. That team was prepared to take advantage of the market. They did a good job of that. I think the functionality of what AI16Z open source, the ability to do much more, while virtuals is really basically pumped out fun for AI agents right now. And now that could change, right? They got much larger team. They got ridiculous amounts of capital now. Maybe they can bring it into like a wider thing rather than just a chatbot with a token attached to it. But my gut says, open source will win. And so I would lean towards AI16Z. But it's still wide open, man. Totally wide open. 99% of this stuff today is vaporware. It's only going to get more vaporware over the next year for sure. We had that chat on the timeline a bunch now already. Like, how many teams are actually building stuff? Bro, it's like you can count them on one hand, right? And so for us, obviously super bullish on what's happening. But it's still very, very early days in my view.
Yeah. So I have here pulled up. So it says Virtual's protocol is made, let's see here. So $4 million in fees. I thought I saw it at like 30 million.
That's right. I think it was like $35 million.
Maybe it's just from when they plugged into this, but I know it was like somewhere over 30 million.
Yeah.
Something of that nature.
Million so far.
We now see that I believe AI16Z has said that they want to create a launch pad, right? Because they want some of that money. I think Zero Bros also come out with a framework. I don't know if they're going to come in and compete with a launch pad. Chris, where do you think the next direction or meta is of AI agents? And I will say one final caveat there is the initial leaders, right? When you come down and look at all the top market caps, the majority of them are either launch pads or meme coins, like for the most part, or a few frameworks.
Yeah, I mean,
What's next?
I think that this is day zero. I think there's going to be a lot of competition coming into the market this year. There's going to be a lot of vapor, like Adam said, but a lot of these AI developers were not interested in crypto, and just like crypto developers weren't necessarily interested in AI. You know, there's that Jason Calacanis tweet: "If you're in crypto, pivot to AI." Everyone in crypto said, "No way, I'm not going to do that." Pretty much, and everyone in AI wasn't interested in pivoting to crypto. But this is the intersection. This is the intersection of the future. The crypto is clearly the transaction layer for these AI agents, the transaction layer of the internet. And you know, we really kind of began this meta in June, July, August, September, like late last year. It's only been a couple of months, so no real developers have like picked up and changed focus yet, but they will this year. And so, you know, why did I think that there would be 50,000, 100,000, 500,000 agents possibly in the next 365 days? Because a lot of these agents, they already exist. They just exist in a different format. You know, everyone has bots all over the internet. There's all different types of automated kind of, you know, AI like bots that exist. And when you pivot them to crypto, which is the exact inverse of what Jason Calacanis said, funnily enough, that's when you get kind of this powerful tech stack that we're going to see. So where exactly is it going? I'm not entirely sure. I just know there's going to be a lot more, and we're going to be facing a lot of high level competition from the AI development side.
My question for you guys is, how are you looking at it? Like, I look at it, I view it as this is actually, it's setting up to be a battle between basically crypto AI and, you know, mainstream or, you know, Wall Street AI, right? So if you think about it right now, the agents that are being built, I mean, shoot, I was watching football this weekend and I saw ads by, you know, Salesforce about their agents, right? That they were building, and, you know, how Salesforce is delivering the agents you need for your business, right? I look at it. So I look at it in this way. It's basically like traditional Wall Street versus crypto. Who can make the AI agents that actually win? And what do you guys view it that way? Or do you view it as, you know, not? Or if it is that way, does crypto have a chance to win in certain sectors of AI agents?
Harry, what's your take?
Well, yeah, I think, you know, talking about this meta censorship earlier, I think there's some risk of what if all the OpenAI and Anthropic ban the crypto AIs? You know, are they going to just stop working? What does that mean for market caps?
Whoa.
Because at the end of the day, you know, there's kind of been a debate. Are these things just like, you know, chat GPT wrappers, or is there something more to it? I have like a lot of thoughts around, you know, all this infrastructure and code that's being written around the agents too. Like, for example, you know, we wrote all this code to make these AI agents great. You know, we have this Eliza OS framework, but maybe, you know, in 5 months or 3 months, it's already all built into the OpenAI, you know, APIs. So like, there's a dilemma as a builder. How much do I build now versus how long can I just like wait and it's already done for me? So yeah, those are the two kind of things that I'm thinking about a lot as I see these agents. It's like platform risk of we're just relying on the APIs, and then it's like dev risk as like, why would I go build all this stuff if it's already done for me in, you know, a month or two? Because it is just increasing so quickly.
So as a builder, primarily in the UTXO space, right? You dev on Bitcoin and Fractal and Dogecoin, etc. Where do you think that intersection is for AI agents across Bitcoin and all of these, you know, long tail proof of work chains?
You know, I mean, right now it's hard. Most of these chains, you can't really have like a lot of data throughput. So my initial reaction would be like to put a lot of this information on chain, but that wouldn't really quite work. So I'm not quite sure. You know, at the moment, it really is just like marketing kind of Twitter bots.
Yeah, that's kind of what we've seen as well. I guess it's more just throwing stuff at the wall. We are seeing some Bitcoin teams come in and announce AI support. We saw Merlin do that today, although they're EVM based, right? So it's not just UTXO. They're just an EVM. I guess you'd call them a Bitcoin wrapper, right? Or a Bitcoin asset wrapper with EVM. And then
yeah, but what do you guys think about like platform risk? You know, say there is like this Silicon Valley, they don't want all this crypto stuff. You know, Facebook banned all crypto ads.
Yeah.
What if OpenAI figures out a way and they ban all crypto agents?
it is an interesting conversation. We've actually had that conversation internally to support different types of agents, right? Whether it's ChatGPT or the Anthropic one or Llama
is open source, yeah.
A few of those. On the other side of that, you did hit the nail right on the head about, you know, a lot of the stuff being built for you, because some of the stuff we use Eliza, right, for Tensorium, and a lot of these plugins, we're seeing, you know, 30, 40 plugins for all these different blockchains already popping up. It's making it a lot easier. And we also have our own platform with Emblem AI with like multi-chain wallets. So it's getting to a point where, you know, you almost have to predict what will be built so that you're saving your time building the right thing. So you're not so that you don't build something and then somebody else does that and you just wasted, you know, a week on whatever it is.
Right. Or it's like, are you willing to rebuild your entire stack every day?
Yeah.
Or are you going to be a maxi about your code and say, oh, well, it's perfect, it works? Because I think about this all the time. It's like, how much am I doing right now that could just be completely redone in one day once the models get better?
Yeah.
I mean, if you saw, I do think, you know, when we were discussing free speech, like the ability to deplatform people, you know, is a big deal. And obviously deplatform agents. I mean, I know people who've already had their agent taken off Twitter, right? So, you know, how, you know, we deal with that, or do, you know, what's the place, you know, and this is one of the, maybe you have a viewpoint on this, how these agents communicate with each other, right? This whole idea of swarms and how agents are going to talk to each other, right? Is it going to be in, you know, private chats on Discord or X, or publicly facing on X? Do you have any insights into that?
I'm not really sure. I'm sure they'll find a way. You know, it's the internet. It's pretty decentralized.
Yeah. It's one of these things that's just out there, just hasn't been decided yet. And different people are kind of, I know people who are building whole, you know, who want to build whole blockchains to do this sort of stuff. You know, I don't think it's going to go that way, but, you know, people are throwing stuff on the wall for sure, trying to figure it out.
That's why we play the game. So I got a note from Shannon. He said, platform risk is why I didn't stick 100% with Eliza. We do use a portion of it. Hustle's portable, just like Emblem Vault. So ahead of the game, thinking about that type of stuff. So both of you on the same exact page. I don't know if you guys saw a lot. You could go to elizaos.ai and kind of see what they're building. I think it's a good visualization where you have the operating system, kind of what the DAO is, and then the partners, because it is a little confusing at first. We noticed yesterday Emblem Vault is actually listed as a partner. So shout out to the Eliza team for showing support for Emblem. I think there's some more stuff to come here in the near future. I did also see that Eliza and Eigenlayer, or AI16Z and Eigenlayer, are partnering, and they're doing an event in ETH Denver where we will be as well. So interesting there. On the other side of that, we saw that Virtuals has come out with their own framework to compete with Eliza. It's called Game, and it's trying to revolutionize the intersection of AI and Web3 gaming, which is kind of interesting because I don't know if you guys remember a few months ago, maybe it was longer than that, Elon Musk came out and said that they were building an AI gaming studio under XAI, and everyone called him an idiot. And now all of a sudden, 6 months later, I'm starting to see more stuff about AI gaming.
I mean, we talked, who were we? Who's the artist? I don't know. But Adam Levine, and they were getting into this like AI for gaming, where, you know, the gaming, and we've seen it now where I think it was, what was that old game where basically the AI generates the game in real time for you, which is like crazy. And I mean, this feels like, to me, this feels a little bit too early. Like, I understand this partnership for, you know, Virtuals to keep the hype train rolling. it feels far too early. I mean, I get the sentiment, which is, imagine, you create an agent. This agent is basically a KOL. It's out there on TikTok or Twitter or whatever. It gets like people around it, has like a following, and then it can be basically in games. It's a wonderful idea. I think it's really cool. Just feels like
so basically it's like a better NPC.
Yeah, it's a better NPC, an NPC that's more real life, because this thing is actually out there in the wild, experiencing the internet, right? Experiencing the metaverse we live in, which is social media, right? And then could be in games and travel across different games, be in different games. So it's an interesting concept. Feels a bit too early, feels very hypey, but I understand the idea in the same way that I understood NFTs in gaming in 21. Just feels like we may be a decade away from this sort of stuff still.
Feels like anytime crypto gaming comes up, there's a lot of hype and then it just dies really fast.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know if a lot of people realize this, but the Virtuals protocol has been around for like 4 years. They were actually initially, I think, a gaming platform, and they've made a few pivots along the way. So shout out to crypto builders for being able to pivot and survive, because that's literally 90% of the game. If you're a dev out here, is just continually iterating on what your experience is, and then finding the right meta or trend and striking while it's hot. So shout out to them. We'll see that moving forward. On other news of us with Hustle and Tensorium project, man, we've had so much happen over the last month and a half. It feels like a year. It feels like we built this thing for a year. We got the rebranding going. We have Agent Hustle. We launched like 4 hours before New Year's Eve. You could go talk to him, agenthustle.ai. He has a memory. I haven't seen any other agents possess this. So you could go log in with your Solana wallet to agenthustle.ai. He will remember all of your conversations. So he ties your identity to that wallet. Eventually, once we release him on Telegram, which is going to be here, maybe in the next few weeks or so, then he can tie your wallet to your Telegram handle. So you can have both of those conversations simultaneously, and he will remember. Currently, right now, the Tensorium project is twofold. It's Agent Hustle plus Emblem AI. Emblem AI is a multi-chain API wallet. So basically, it's just an AI wallet for short. It has Solana support, working on Bitcoin. Then we can put this in the hands of the agent and see what kind of cool DeFi or just interesting things can happen there. He has a wallet as well with, I believe, 6 million Tensor, which you could see on the website. A lot of interest around this project. It's been interesting, the people who've reached out. It seems like the agent itself is what gets them in, and then all the builders are more interested in the Emblem AI at the end of the day. They just want to integrate with the wallet because they realize, hey, if this Emblem AI, if you have all the plugins and people would just put their agent in this pretty simply, and now every agent has a wallet, if you want to build outside of kind of the virtuals ecosystem, then this wallet needs a bridging software, right? It needs, I just say software for short. It needs a bridging thing. It needs a trading platform, right? It needs XYZ DeFi kind of capabilities. And I think people are starting to really notice that, because I've had some very interesting conversations.
Totally, man. It's really,
how's that going?
It's going well, honestly. So Shannon, Shannon's been I guess you could say like a bot AI dev for longer than he's been a crypto developer, because he was building stuff for was it World of Warcraft? I think World of Warcraft in like the mid 2000s for generating revenue and things like of that nature. For me, I think everyone else on the team who's not like a developer, it's been a pretty interesting learning experience, kind of piecing it all together. But the best way that I view it is there's kind of three things going on with Tensorium, and from the outside it looks confusing, but I think once we have it all plugged in and stood up over the next month or so, it'll make a lot of sense. You have Agent Hustle, which is the agent. It's a multi-platform agent. So currently it's on the website. It'll be on Telegram. It'll be on Twitter. You have this memory component to it, so it remembers all of your conversations through an OAuth, which is kind of new. And then you have Emblem AI, which is the wallet itself, which is kind of the main infrastructure here. And so with Emblem AI, with the wallet, it has Solana. We're adding Bitcoin here, working on that this week. So then Hustle can integrate with that. Any AI agent can integrate with that. But also, whenever a user interacts with Hustle, it'll open up a wallet on Emblem AI. So you and Hustle will co-own or co-manage, I guess, a wallet, with Solana, Bitcoin, Ethereum, to then go do on-chain activities. Obviously, you have to link these data sources to improve kind of the reach of what can be done. But there's multiple angles here. And on the Emblem Vault side, the agent is cross-platform, so we can also integrate him with Emblem Vault. So whenever you go to emblem.vision or emblem.markets, you could kind of just interact with him and have him do the bridging and all of these kind of more complex activities on chain, which I think is honestly probably for AI agents. I think that's what I'm most bullish on, is just simplifying the UX experience, because I think the main issue with Ethereum is that no one wants to bridge anything. But if you can just go in and type it, I think that brings so much value back to Ethereum, because it's, now as simple as just putting something in a text box.
Yeah, I mean, Harry, just to, kind of the way I'm viewing it right now, it's I don't know, for the last, since 2021 or whatever, we've been talking about, how do you make, onboarding people to crypto easier, right? It's like, I've done it before myself, how-to videos, how to download a wallet, dude. And that's we always realized that was Jesus, this is going to be really hard. We got to make this way better. And for the first time, I really feel like the AI and AI agent experience can completely take that away from the end user, right? Where the end user just
I agree.
Yeah, just deals with whatever, a Google login, and then that's it, right? And then it's just, what do I want to do? Yeah, I'm very, very bullish on that. I don't know if you're seeing kind of similar things.
Well, yeah, I mean, no user. I don't certainly ever enjoy bridging. I only do it if I have to, for an arbitrage or some, some reason. So if you're just using crypto and blockchains, you're not even thinking about the base layer. I think that's going to be a big part of it, and you're just not going to even realize that you're switching between blockchains and vaulting or anything. It's just going to be way more seamless. So the AI side doing that, or even just bots, is I think it's a great market fit for Emblem.
Appreciate that. Yeah, we're very excited on that opportunity as well. It's going to take some time to build, but we got one of them. The hardest lift was getting Emblem AI, the website up, and then the back end. Then it was getting Agent Hustle up. Now it's kind of getting these different wallet integrations, right? BTC support, EVM support, etc. And then after that, it becomes more kind of cosmetic, boutique, ancillary things to be added to it. So we'll almost have the majority of the heavy lifting done here. Looking at the Tensor token, man, quite a wild ride. It's just similar to most things on Solana. Goes up 50% a day, goes down 50% a day. The Telegram thinks the sky is falling every day. Been interesting though, because I've been kind of personally, hadn't participated too much in the Solana ecosystem. I was waiting for us on the business side to get involved to kind of start participating. What do you guys think on the prospects of Tensor, and then what that actually, may mean in a built out world of Tensorium, a few months from now?
Chris, what do you think, man? Let's have your Solana take on the price. That looks like a perfect head and shoulders to me right there.
I mean, I just think more so being early to where we are today and having actual technology behind the agent, you're standing head and shoulders above anyone else in the industry, pretty much.
Yeah.
And with the build out that's going to go on over the next 3 to 6 months, it's going to get pretty insane. I mean, we're a cross-chain company. That's what our company does for a living. And we're implementing that into the AI agent that we're building, Hustle. I mean, that is like a match made in heaven. We've made far more progress than pretty much anyone else. And this is just the very beginning. So I always appreciate how we don't really hype anything. We really put the building first, and the hype just kind of accumulates by itself. But I just distract from price. This doesn't really matter to me. If you zoom out even further, Jake, if you go to like a daily, we accumulated around like 3 million for like the first month. Look at that first month.
Yeah, it's a nice chart.
We just accumulated and waited for people to notice, and then people noticed, shot us up to 15 million, whatever it was, took us back down. So I mean, all of this distribution, getting the coins in the hands of many people rather than a select few with big bags, that's bullish for me. So the community is growing. The people that are spending the time in the Telegram and talking with the team, talking with Shannon, understanding what Emblem Vault does and how that can be applied to the AI space. I think that the vision, if you're paying attention, is extremely clear. And it's crypto. People want, they want results today. They want everything today. And once you have a big release, they're going to sell and they're going to look for something else that has an upcoming release. It's always playing the hype game. So as a builder, you just really have to tune it out and just know that the market's going to market and builders are going to build, and we're just going to keep on moving forward.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. On good news as well, I think we actually just hired or in the kind of in the process of hiring a developer for our AI division. So Emblem is expanding to four developers.
Huge.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. I've learned over the last 2 years being at Emblem, right? It's never just a simple thing of hiring a dev, right? There's it's like progressively get there. Also like contract negotiations and skills and all that stuff. So heading in the right direction is where I wanted to leave that. So now moving on from, the AI barbell to the Bitcoin barbell, which is, still progressively growing. I saw Best in Slot put these stats out today. Last year, BRC20 did $2.4 billion on chain, 24,000 Bitcoin. And that was in 12 months. And then Runes did 1.62 billion, almost 16,000 BTC. And that was in 8 months because it launched in April. Yeah. At the
Kind of surprising.
Kind of right. Surprising. You think it's more? It's a lot more than I thought.
For BRC or for Runes or
for BRC20?
Yeah, I agree. That's what I'm saying. Kind of surprising.
Is this current Bitcoin price though, or is it at the time of the sale?
Oh, that's true.
Probably at the time of sale, I would assume.
This is from Best in Slot. Put the post out today. Well, I guess let's see. It might be the current price. Yeah, so 15,800 Bitcoin. It says 1.62 billion. So yeah, I think this might be current price.
Really?
Yeah, because if you look, 23,990 Bitcoin, they put 2.45 billion. That's like most 100K.
So we're gonna look back in a couple of years, and we did $1 trillion of volume.
Yeah, no kidding. In other news, seeing kind of the progress, it felt like progress had kind of stalled in Runes and stuff. But I know a lot of people have been building, also experimenting on side chains. It's becoming to me quite clear that Arch Network is now starting to take center stage as the, I guess you call it the TE or the platform of choice to build DeFi applications. Fluid Tokens announced that they were moving over to Arch Network, which also supports Liquidium and Saturn, which I don't think has launched yet, or maybe it has. So you now have 3 DeFi platforms there. On the other news, the only other competitor I saw was Tap Protocol, which has been kind of stalling here in the world of battling for DeFi. Obviously, you have Fractal as well, and maybe we'll get into Fractal and Bellscoin doing OpCat here soon. But, maybe I'll propose this question to Chris. What do you think? What's your prospect on DeFi on Bitcoin? Now that it seems like developers are choosing Arch Network over Tap Protocol.
I mean, I'm a Bitcoin bull. I think the token ecosystem on Bitcoin is in day zero, literally ground zero. I don't know how people think that economic activity isn't going to go back to the biggest chain that we have. I mean, so much economic power is on Bitcoin, and it just makes sense that was kind of always the blueprint. That was literally the original Bitcoin blueprint, is let all of these other chains build all of the important apps that they think the industry would need, and then you will bring that back home to Bitcoin. That's literally been the blueprint for like the last 10 years. And now it's finally happening. And for some reason, people are kind of sputtering out and being like, I don't know if that's actually going to be a thing.
Nobody cares.
That is clearly going to be a thing. But I think it goes back to instant gratification, kind of the same thing. If it's not built today, then we don't care about it. We only care about it when I can make money off it instantly. And I just think that that's the wrong approach with something like Bitcoin. And I think, if you're patient, it's very clear to me that some of the biggest and best performing assets over the next year, 2 years are going to be Bitcoin assets. So I don't think I'm going to break from that.
Yeah, I share the same exact sentiment. So Adam, what's your take on, the opposite perspective of this? Runes kind of were built, we talked about this, like vertically owned versus horizontally owned assets, right? Runes was more decentralized. Casey came in and put the protocol out, hasn't really done anything else. Some of the other competing ones, like we'll use Tap Protocol, right? They built out their own kind of thing. They did, or their own token protocol. They got VC funding, and then they try to incentivize builders to come over. Obviously, with centralized kind of systems, they seem to scale faster because they have money. But they're much more incentive based. Whereas here, it seems like all the builders are moving more in this kind of decentralized application layer. Is this something that we expected to happen? And what do you think? What do you think the market is telling the Bitcoin ecosystem?
I think the market's telling the Bitcoin ecosystem that nobody cares right now. It's just, unfortunately, right now for Bitcoin, there's nothing really attractive happening, and attractive to the crypto Twitter timeline, right? And so you would think, and I think Arch, has funding and stuff where they can, runway to keep this thing going for a while. And with an open kind of platform like this, you would hope that they can attract some builders to do some interesting things, which bring people in. And then it's just a waiting game of like, timing and hitting something to make it interesting and attractive to people. And, we just see attention moves in this space so quickly to the next shiny object, that, whether or not this really takes off, or it just becomes another, rootstock sitting there that we're still talking about 5 years later, or another Stacks, to be frank, that's sitting there and
Or Runes.
or I mean, this is the game, bro, and it's really, really, really hard. And there's no magic bullet, like, there's no magic bullet to make these things work. But we'll see.
The only competitor you really see potentially is if OpCat's enabled, right? Then you start getting these tokens. Then it becomes a question of, are people going to move over to that, or are they just going to be stuck with their bags and stick with it? That could still be a year, 2 years away. We are fortunate though to have Harry, who built is it Flurry?
Fleur.gg.
Fleur.gg, and you guys have been experimenting with OpCat tokens on Fractal. What's the progress like over there? Is there general interest? And if that ever makes it to Bitcoin, do you think that there's a possibility that people will basically leave Runes to go to this new token system?
The Cat 20s are quite fascinating, but there's still quite a bit of limitations you have to work around that we found out with Fleur. So I don't see it performing well on Bitcoin if it's more costly. And it's people are still all right with let's index the whole blockchain and just use Runes. So there may be some niche, but it's going to be like OpCat gives you the programmability, but without the increase of block size or transaction throughput, it's just going to be a pretty painful UX for most users. So I see OpCat more after doing the Fleur stuff. It really took me building that to learn. It's going to be more of this, UDI style. People are going to bridge to other execution layers more trustlessly, which is going to be a huge benefit if we can, bring BTC to other blockchains where you can hold it and spend it and, use it and not have to worry about some custodial risk. So I think that is more of the use case for OpCat rather than tokens. I generally think all tokens on Bitcoin probably it's not the right chain for that. it's far better for this, put the data on chain for NFTs. But as for tokens, I think you need it on some other layer, which is why I think Arch is very interesting in that it's like it is this other layer, but it's also tightly connected to the L1.
Yeah, using TEE, which has kind of grown quite popular, over the last 2 or 3 years, and now a bunch of AI applications are starting to use this as well. And also just that the technology has improved vastly, that people are becoming a lot more accepting of it. I remember 2 years ago when ordinals first popped up, if it wasn't quote unquote on Bitcoin, L1 directly, people just had a freaking heart attack. But now 2 years later, everyone's like, yeah, this is probably not going to happen. So there's become more accepting of different trade-offs and different types of plugins. Adam, are you going to say something?
Yeah, I got a question for you. Just give us like the high level smooth brain overview of the problems with Opcat as you see them.
Well, on Fractal, it was the block size. So instead of being able to do a lot of, like, if you wanted to buy a limit order, sometimes you'd have to make like 12 transactions to actually move the balance, like do what you're normally going to do on an order book. So the transaction sizes were just too big. And adding more opcodes would help. Op split would like dramatically reduce it. Op multiply, some of these things we had to like emulate, which increased the transaction size. But yeah, these limitations just made for a pretty awful user experience. Now some of it was just my coding expertise. So I still really love this idea of like global on-chain order books with like minor validated tokens. And I want to explore it more. And really, I think it's just like I'm kind of just waiting for AIs to get better and build it all for me. Like, can I build Binance in one day? I'll wait 6 months for OpenAI to release a better model, or a year. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of just waiting and experimenting with everything. So
you don't feel like
Cat20s are
the idea
cool.
of like launching the token itself on Bitcoin. So like an Opcat token on Bitcoin that somehow gets, immediately bridged to, Fractal, and then just trades on Fractal. That's still that sort of model that I've been hearing about. You don't feel like, because it's even clunky on Fractal, you still don't see it happening necessarily.
No, and why would you bridge to Fractal? I mean, bridge it to Solana, bridge it to Base. I honestly, one of them will probably get a bunch of attention and get $1 billion market cap, but doesn't mean it's like going to be there forever. It really is just attention games.
So yeah, I know. So what's the Udi? Give me the Udi version of why Opcat.
Well, I think they're trying to build a bridge, a good bridge to their own VM or their own blockchain or other places. And I think that is the most practical. But at that point, what's the point of having it on Bitcoin in the first place? Like, why didn't you just launch it somewhere else? Is kind of how I think about it. So yeah.
Right. So they're looking at the bridge. Well, let's bridge out BTC. Basically, is that the idea?
Yeah, in my view, yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense, right? So if you could do his whole thesis, right? This is why I've actually kind of really admired what they're doing and kind of modeled a little bit of like what we're doing with the expansion campaign. Is like, it's so multifaceted what they're doing. Like, their narrative is Bitcoin, or ancient Bitcoin whales, right? So they know that's their target audience. How do they tap into that target audience? Well, they have to make it permissionless, right? Or decentralized, whatever they're doing. So they have to, the way to do that, I guess, is with Opcat, with taking Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously they're going to build their own quote unquote L2 or VM, right? They've said a cat VM, so that they could tap into the ancient Bitcoin whale, Bitcoin treasury, to then increase the TVL to cat VM to probably astronomical levels. I mean, what we saw with Merlin could potentially just be, that'd be a drop in the bucket compared to, what is potentially possible there.
I think, the biggest use case for these whales is really, how can you exit your Bitcoin position without using trusted third parties like centralized exchanges that may KYC you, or you don't know. So if you can bridge trustlessly to another blockchain and then sell your Bitcoin or hold it there, I think that's like the biggest use case.
Yeah, I totally agree as well. And Chris, I don't know if you guys saw this today, but Michael Saylor said that he's burning his Bitcoin when he dies. Did you see this?
He's gonna no. What did he say? He's just gonna take it
I
with
saw
him.
it
Take his seed phrase with him.
He's gonna burn his Bitcoin when the keys to his personal Bitcoin when he dies.
Yeah, I think it's just personal Bitcoin. It's all I was going to add. I don't think it's the company's Bitcoin.
Yeah.
He's probably got no personal.
I think he's like 30,000 or 40,000 Bitcoin or something like that, which is still, it's multiple
He's
billions of dollars.
the highest level of bullshit, bro. Come on. Come on. You're telling me he's got his seed phrase in his head? I don't fucking buy it, dude.
And the guy dedicates his entire life to buying Bitcoin just to burn it. Like, all right, man, whatever.
Absolute legend, dude. What an insane man. Yeah, he's got no wife, no kids. Does he
not have any? He doesn't have any kids or anything, man.
No.
Christ, what a psycho, bro.
Kind of an interesting guy. It's kind of an interesting guy,
dude. The guy's on an all-time arc. I mean, it took him 25 years to get master back to its all-time high. Like, that is absolute delusion. You have to be extremely autistic to just stick that out to get it back. And the funny part is, like, for it to reach the all-time high, it did exactly the first thing, where it was just like a gigantic pump. Like, it literally looks like the Dogecoin chart. So shout out to him. This is going to be a very exciting year to me. I think it's going to be more Bitcoin ecosystem. Solana is going to continue with the AI kind of take over. I think Base actually probably gained some traction here in the middle. That seems to be literally everyone we talk with, at least from the Emblem side, that wants, at least the last 4 or 5 teams that I've talked with that want to migrate their stuff. It's either, or their NFTs, it's either to mostly Base for the generalized one, or they want to go to Abstract or ApeChain for XYZ reasons. Also, some of the conversations, there's a ton of these L2s that are interested in bringing over ordinals. Like, there is a very, very large interest there. So I think if people hold on to their ordinals, it's going to be multiple opportunities to farm with the same ordinal, like start farm with your Bitcoin puppet on 4 or 5 different L2s to get their token, which I think is going to unlock a lot of interest. Maybe hopefully bring some.
I mean, dude, everybody wants the wealthy user. It's the same as, Web 2, right? You want, if you're an insurance company, you're targeting ads, you want to target people who are interested in that. And, everybody wants the rich user. And when you can clearly see that, whatever, if you own a node monkey, okay, it's at least worth this. Everybody wants those people on their chain. So yeah, it's going to get really, really exciting.
Fuck yeah. Harry, one final thing before we wrap up here. I want to hear what you guys are up to this year. Obviously,
we've been spending a lot of time getting our costs reduced. So moving off of Amazon, finding different service providers, like optimizing our whole backend, which is we've done that pretty successfully. So that's a big relief to make our company a little more profitable. And then really, we've just been paying attention. We've honestly, for the past 2 months, I've been doing a lot of degenning on Base and just checking out all the apps. I got into virtuals pretty early and exited it very early. I didn't quite understand. But yeah, I've been messing around with Farcaster and this Clank Fund. Everything on Base has been super fascinating for me. As soon as I realized that you didn't have to use MetaMask, I found this other wallet called Rabby. It just made the whole Ethereum experience better. So I'm a big believer that if everyone stopped using MetaMask and moved on to other wallets, that Ethereum could have its day again.
I was going to mention that. I think there's not enough Ethereum bulls. It sucks that I have to become the Ethereum bull. It's like a total 180 from the status quo here. Mm-hmm. But I have to step up and be the Ethereum bull. I mean,
hey, I'm with you. I mean, I compiled my first Solidity smart contract since 2017.
We're back
yesterday, so we're starting to cook again.
We're back, baby. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, Vitalik's been into AI for many years. I think he published a follow-up to his AI blog post yesterday. I haven't gotten the chance to read the second one, but he was ahead of the curve for that. Vitalik notoriously didn't like all the games played on chain, and AI has a lot more substance. And I think that will take a lot of his focus, and I kind of see him zooming in on that. So I think that there's an kind of under the radar narrative that's bubbling there that maybe people aren't paying attention to.
It's listening to Empire podcast, I think yesterday, and they were talking about Ethereum L2s and kind of the revival of it. And the whole idea was pretty much what we were talking about. AI will assist with the L2 experience so that users can, go back and forth quite seamlessly. They also, I think it was Yano predicted that basically the death of general purpose L2s, the rise of the specific use case ones, that was what my prediction was as well.
Yep.
And Base, I think just everything around Base is really the interest. I saw some speculation of them trying to tokenize their Coinbase stock on Base, and then potentially some of the other ones as well. Maybe they're working with BlackRock and Securitize and stuff to bring stocks to Base, which would be, absolutely incredible for Ethereum. The fact I think that's Vitalik stuck out that L2 narrative. I think it does feel like they are through the thick of that FUD. Like it can't get really much worse than that. That'll probably be famous last words, but he had ample opportunity to basically scrap the whole L2 stuff and just try to optimize the L1, and stuck through it, even through all the different FUD and Ethereum Foundation and stuff. Like to me, it seems like maybe it takes a little bit longer for consolidation, but it does seem like pretty much the only place to go is up from here.
Yep.
I do have to agree with Harry though. I mean, if we get a new wallet, just a more mainstream wallet. I mean, why do people love Solana so much? They love Solana, but they love the Phantom wallet experience.
100%.
And so if we can really get
Which now supports Base.
Exactly. And so if we just get new wallets in the hands of some of these users, the experience can be totally different. I mean, we're at the point where Ethereum is getting zero respect in the market. I saw Bitwise put their predictions up. They were like, Ethereum may hit $7,000, similar to Adams. It was like right.
Yeah.
It was under
I
Adams.
said 8. What'd you say? Jake said 16, right?
No, that's Chris said.
Oh, Chris said 16. I'm hoping 16.
I mean, institutions are going to buy these assets, and the higher the Bitcoin goes, the more eyes have to look somewhere else for value. And how can you not look at Ethereum and think that the protocol that brought mainstream the smart contract and just so much next level computation is not going to be valuable in the future? So I think that they have some narratives to work through, but I think Ethereum is a play in 2025 that nobody's talking about.
Fuck yeah, let's go. Love to hear it. Help our Ethereum bags. Well, awesome market conversation today. The next two shows, AI shows. We have Project 89 on tomorrow, and then Robrito is on Thursday. We have Butoshi scheduled for later this month. Last year we focused, large majority was all UTXO based stuff. This year we're going to continue with that, but add in the AI fold as well. Honestly, just somewhat selfishly, I just want to learn a lot about it as well. I think a lot of just easy opportunity to kind of make that segue. So expect a lot more AI focused stuff. We're still going to continue with the Bitcoin and Dogecoin, all those ecosystems, but just adding another fold into the mix. So 2 AI shows here the next 2 days. Appreciate everyone. I hope everyone had a safe and awesome new year. We're now into the thick of stuff, and we'll see you guys back here tomorrow at, I think it's actually at 1. Is tomorrow? We had to change the time. I think tomorrow is actually 4 p.m. Eastern time.
Yep, 4 p.m. Eastern.
We had to change it for him. So 4 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. Then we're back to everything on Thursday at the same time, 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. Until then, see you guys. Have a safe one.
Take care.